welcome to Sunshine Cathedral's Queer God Squad. It's Friday, January 3rd, 2025. I'm Bishop Darrell Watkins, the senior minister here at Sunshine Cathedral. And with me today is Sunshine Cathedral's executive minister, he's also my husband, Bishop Robert Griffin, and Sunshine Cathedral's Minister of Connections, the Reverend Dr. Ann Atwell. Visit sunshinecathedral.org to learn more about our progressive faith community and how you can be a part of it, no matter where you live in the world. And if you live in South Florida, be sure to check out the Sunshine Cathedral Center for the Performing Arts, offering entertainment for the LGBTQ+ community to benefit the LGBTQ+ community. If you enjoyed the Queer God Squad, please share this or other episodes with your friends, family, and social media communities. At Sunshine Cathedral, we're here to tell you that you are God's miracle, not God's mistake.
This is the Sunshine Cathedral perspective, the subversive economy of Christ, the upside-down gospel. The Reverend Benjamin Kremer is a minister in the Northwest from the conservative Nazarene tradition who is not a biblical literalist and supports LGBTQ rights and a woman's right to choose. His conservative colleagues criticize him for his more progressive views, but he's built an appreciative audience across social media where he posts such pearls of wisdom as, and I'm quoting, "Heaven's streets being paved with gold is the Bible's first century way of saying, you know that shiny stuff you so often valued more than each other, the stuff you fought and killed over? It's used to make the gutter system in heaven. Christ's economy is upside down to ours," end quote. Upside down sounds queer, doesn't it? The economy of Christ is a dream of how things ought to be. Fair, inclusive, compassionate, generous, concern for everyone, shared prosperity without avarice or exploitation. Such a dream would also want everyone housed, fed, educated, and all people's human rights affirmed and protected. Why do so few Christians seem invested in such a worldview, and what can we do to share the vision of the economy of Christ? That's a really good question. You know, there's been such a rise recently, I guess it's been ongoing for a while, but such a rise of Christian nationalism. And so many people, particularly the vulnerable, are targeted. You know, I actually read here not too terribly long ago that somebody was hearing about the gospel, reading the gospel in the words of Jesus and what he did, and described it as too woke. Too woke. Jesus was too woke. Yep. Jesus did what Jesus does. And that is my role as a Christian. Basically, he is my model. I follow what he did. Now, some people don't appreciate that. Some people don't want that. They consider it too woke. They want to target maybe those who are vulnerable. Not really my thing, and I don't understand it. But some people really seem to just kind of move that way and then describe it as being Christian.
Yeah. The medicine of first century peasantry, and for that matter, first century elites, was wine and oil, mud, herbs and roots, maybe, and wishing really hard. Medicine was the medicine, yeah. That was the medicine of the day. And so, but you see Jesus as a healer. Well, prayer and touch and mud and wine, this is the medicine of the day. So you see Jesus practicing medicine, never once charging. So you see free universal health care in the Jesus ministry. Never charges anyone. He uses the medicine of the day. It wasn't great medicine, but such as they had, they gave and gave. They gave. The feeding of the multitudes, Jesus, even though he didn't have a lot, they had one little basket, between them. They shared what they had, and it stretched farther than they would have expected, according to the story. But again, you feed people because they're hungry, not because they work hard or deserve it or live in the right part of the thing or have papers no, someone's hungry. You try to find some food for them. That's the Jesus way. So this shouldn't be controversial.
Right.
This sort of thing that you feed people who are hungry. You offer hospitality to people who are in need or in danger. And I love the idea that it's Mary in the Magnificat says that God has. Not only is she calling for the end of empires, but she has said that God has already done it. Remembering, I guess, the times that all the empires, that Rome was the one empire at the time. Well, there had been other empires. Where are they now? God has brought them down. That. So, like, empire, not good. Not caring for the poor, that's not good. Not caring for the sick, that's not good. So yes, the Christ economy is the economy that doesn't leave anybody out.
Right.
That's not competitive. That's not cruel. That doesn't have a system of elites that live off the labor and suffering of other people. That's the economy of Christ. And I love that image of, this gold that you think is so precious.
Right.
Horses clop, 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 and drop plops of crap on it as they go down it's just people throwing out their piss pots out the windows onto your streets of gold. That's what gold is in heaven.
Yeah.
That's what gold is to God. If wealth doesn't make you happy here, why would it make you happy anywhere, in any existence, right? So that does show you the economy of Christ. Streets of gold mean nothing if somebody doesn't have bread on their plate.
Right.
Somebody doesn't have a fish to eat. Somebody doesn't have clean water to drink, clean air to breathe. And so this is So the, what's it called? The prosperity gospel, where if you have enough faith, you'll be super rich. And the people who aren't poor, they just need to get on board. They just need to convert and get the right faith. We want everybody to have it all. They just have to do the right magic. That's not Jesus. That's not the Jesus way. That's not the prophetic way. And so, yeah, I think that the economy of Christ is something that doesn't favor competition, and it doesn't favor haves and have-nots, and it doesn't favor the rich getting richer while other people struggle. And because of that, it does not favor American capitalism. And Americans, even those who go to church every single Sunday, tend to be more capitalist than Christian.
I think that when I think about this whole topic, it is about who benefits in these types of economies. And I think we live in such a woke economy now that if I'm not benefiting, then nobody should benefit, or I don't care if you benefit or not. And I think as we begin to move into different administrations right now, that's what it feels more and more like, is that the woke thing is all about me, 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 me. And if the president, as you told the story about,
The woke criticism.
the woke criticism,
Yeah, when they say they complain about people being woke, they're saying because that your wokeness is getting in my way.
it's getting in my way, and it's not benefiting me the way it should.
Yeah.
And I think, if someone's accusing Jesus, the movement of Jesus, the way of Jesus, the teaching of Jesus as being too woke, then Jesus is just as woke as he's ever been in the teachings and the way we live our lives and in what we do and in the movement that we live today. So this whole thing about, Jesus is too woke, what does woke Jesus look like in the 21st century? If it's not about feeding the poor, if it's not about helping people find who have housing and security, making sure people get access to medical care, make sure justice is done for all people, not just some people, then you may need to take a look at what it means to be woke, because your version of being woke is putting the other down.
Yeah.
And that's not what this is about. And this economy, we should all be sharing in an economy that is abundance for everyone. Taking a little bit, whatever you may have, and sharing what you have benefits everyone. And in this, the subversive economy of Christ, I love when we do what we do. We don't get platitudes for what we do. And the reward goes to the person who needs it the most. The one who's been isolated, the one who's been outcast. They're getting what we can offer in good news. And good news sometimes comes in the form of, here's a place to say, here's a food cart, here's a bag of groceries. Come worship in a safe place on Sunday morning. Come be a part of something that is nurturing and life-changing. And so when I think about this, I think about the subversiveness of the Sunshine Cathedral. Yeah. How do we do what we do? Because I enjoyed that part of being woke. Woke allows us to do what we need to do for the other.
The Archbishop Tutu used to say that to the hungry, the gospel is food. That's what the good news is that I won't go to bed hungry tonight.
Yeah.
And so I don't care that Anne, if I have one car and she has three, I don't care about that. What I care is that she's got three while other people can't even get to work.
Yeah.
That's the thing. I don't care that someone has more than me, as long as everyone has enough. Yeah. So I don't care that you have two houses. I care that you have two houses while other people are sleeping on the street.
Yeah.
So that's that. Now, we can't fix everything, but we can care enough that we don't support systems that perpetuate the thing. So yeah, I'm not mad that you got a boat. Especially if you live on it, because that's your house. But if you got two houses and a boat and 6 cars, okay, I guess good for you, but meanwhile, are you sharing your abundance so that someone else doesn't have to miss meals or medicine?
Right.
And if you're trying to get out of all the taxes you can pay, and you're not being super generous with your sharing, and yeah, I'm glad you have so much, I guess, but like, I don't mind that Oprah has a lot of money, because Oprah spends a lot of money on people. She gives a lot of money. So, okay, if someone's going to have way too much, I want it to be her. But most people aren't Oprah.
Yeah.
Most people are. It's how can I? In fact, I would think if you were really a generous person, it would be hard to be a billionaire. Now, rich is when your money works for you. Like everybody who works, even though they make a lot of money, if you're working for it, you're not rich. Rich is when your money works for you. So yeah, if you have millions, your millions is going to make you millions. But if you're living the Jesus way, it's going to be hard to let your millions grow into billions, because you're blessed to be a blessing, and so you're doing too much blessing to. So it would be hard to be a Christian billionaire. I'm not saying that it's not possible, but if you're traveling in space while other people can't get chemo, that can't be Jesus.
Yeah.
That just can't be right.
All right.
I saw this little meme the other day that I really, one of those thankful gratitude memes that said, I've stopped worrying about if my cup is half full, if my cup is half empty. I'm just thinking if I have a cup.
Thank you, God, for the cup. Yeah.
And because there's so many people who don't even have the cup. So I think when I think about that type of approach, it's about gratitude, being thankful. Yeah. And I think it's in gratitude that we are blessed, and from that place of being blessed, we do give back in so many different ways. But you got to have that air of gratitude first,
Yeah.
not egotism.
I've known people, some of them in my family, at times it's even been us. I've known people whose houses were just full of people or pets or whatever, because they needed space, they needed place, they needed shelter. And so grandkids, neighbors, friends, old college buddies, strays, cats from the neighborhood, whatever, just packed up in the house. It's extreme generosity by people who just work for a living. They just happen to have a house.
Yeah.
And so you can sleep on the floor, you can sleep on the sofa, we can go to Walmart and buy a cot, and we'll just make sure you're okay for a while. Meanwhile, someone else has so much. So I just think that I just want people to be generous. And it seems like the more you have, the least generous a lot of people tend to be. The person who's got 6 people in their 4-room house because they won't let someone go, hungry or homeless. If you're doing better than that person, you should also be doing more than that person. But it's true, though, that the working class tend to be more generous with their more limited resources.
That's true. That's true. We see that frequently with the food sharing. Actually, a lot of times when our food sharing clients come, we will offer them, if we have an abundance of something. Oh, I don't want to take it because I don't want to take it from somebody else. No, we really have an abundance. You know what? I can share this. I can share this with my neighbors. I can share this with my family. I can share this with others. They want to be generous.
Right. Now, we live in a pretty affluent community, and I have seen over the years some hoarding and some cruelty or whatever. But I also, here at Sunshine Cathedral, we have a lot of very generous people.
Yes, we do. We really do.
And like you're talking about the food ministry, like people give matching gifts to make things happen. People give to foundations, and the foundations give grants, and like we have. So if you have a lot, we're not begrudging you. We're just saying, remember that people have too little, and you're in a position to help. So I'm very proud of the people at Sunshine Cathedral who are consistently generous. In fact, we had a rough July, and I just put out the word. I'm like, you know what, we had a rough July, and we can turn this around quickly if you'll just help us. And we didn't have to wait a week before people, oh yeah. And they dug a little deeper, and we recovered from a bad July. So we have very generous people. And what we're saying is that needs to be the model. I think that's what Jesus was saying.
Yeah.
This kid has lunch. Can we have your lunch? And the kid shares, and they share it. And somehow, when everyone did what they could, no matter how little, everyone got something. And I think that's the point. Not that event happened, but that if we live generously, the world is better.
Indeed.
Well, that's today with the Queer God Squad. We want to thank you for joining us. We're here daily at 3 p.m. to have some fun and to discuss what our LGBTQ plus community is talking about.
Sunshine Cathedral is the world's leading progressive queer church. Progressive, queer, and God are words that naturally should go together.
We all are in this together. Remember that.
You are God's miracle, not God's mistake. Until next time, we are the Queer God Squad. Goodbye.